Thank you, Stephanie. Let's go to the next slide. We're going to rock this call out. 7 steps to build a duplicatable and scalable business. What does that mean? So first of all, a lot of you know who I am. I've been around since dinosaurs. We did have cars when I did start into real estate 44 years ago. I wrote the books in the 90s before some of you were born. And I've absolutely know what it takes to have a great team and build a duplicatable and scalable business. I worked for Dave Ramsey for 4 or 5 years. I built that ELP program training with them. And so the rest is history. So Stephanie, the next slide, let's get started. So the first thing is you got to understand what a playbook is. What is a playbook? Okay. So the definition of a playbook, have you ever experienced one? So I was never on a football team. But I do know, and I hear, and I've watched a lot of football and football lover, is that there are plays they run, you know, and what does that mean to run a play? So think like that a little bit. You know, have you ever had a sales business playbook? Were you ever with a big corporation where they had a sales playbook? And so a realtor's playbook is a record of processes and systems. It's a reference guide to duplicating your business. It's your SOPP, Standard Operating Policy and Procedures. And what does it mean to run the plays? It means that it's a consistent business and you're constantly tweaking and always upgrading and always looking for the new one. So Stephanie, let's go to the next slide. So on the next slide, I want you to, which is step 2, is you got to understand the benefits of a playbook. Why would you want to build a playbook and how do you do that? I'm going to get to all of that. You're going to see in a good example. You're going to see this because when you build these playbooks, it saves time and training for onboarding a new admin. It saves time and training for boarding a new admin, not seeing or hearing anything. Well, you got to unmute yourself and you got to turn the video on because I'm pretty sure everybody else can see me. So save time, no sound or okay. So are we having a problem here?
We're good from my end. Not
Some are saying they're not seeing anything. No sound.
I'm good.
So down at the
I
bottom,
can hear and see you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm good. I'm good. So down at the bottom, if you scroll down, there's a microphone and a video. You have to turn that on if this is your first rodeo. So I'm not sure what the challenge is, but there's quite a few that can hear. Well, the good news, it's being recorded.
Zoom flashed on an update too, so you might have to update your Zoom.
Okay, update your Zoom or log off and come back on. The good news is this is a recording and we'll get you out the recording. Same, I logged out. Okay. All right. So I'm not sure what's going on there. Seeing nothing, that doesn't make any sense, does it, Graham? Okay, no, I'm going to pretend that most of you can see this and I'm going to roll. Okay, all right. So if you look at the benefits in the PowerPoint, if you email me at monica@kw.com, well, you can't hear that, but some of you, then we will send you the recording in the PowerPoint. All right. Well, fast track, Matt is in muted. No, you got this muted, Graham?
No, I am muted. Stephanie is muted. You're loud and clear.
Well, I know, but it says fast track is muted, it says.
I think that might mean Stephanie, she's under the fast track account. Yeah, it seems like 50.
But did it mute it across the board?
No, you're good.
It's not. Totally I can hear you fine.
Okay, Uncle. I'm going forward. Yeah. We'll figure it out, and I'm sorry about that. Okay. Thank you, Judy. You can hear me and see me. Fine. Okay. So what are the benefits? Why do you want to have a playbook? Let me go to that. Okay. So it controls all the standards and protocols for all the parts of your business. You're not reinventing the wheel all the time. It saves time and training for onboarding a new admin. It saves time and training for onboarding a new agent. Defines and keeps your culture. You have to keep your culture. When you bring on people, it starts to get diluted or it changes a direction or this becomes acceptable when it was never acceptable to you. Never acceptable to you. Stephanie, go back to 2, please. We didn't want to change that yet. So it defines and keeps the culture. It saves time. It's a reference manual. So instead of saying, hey, how did we do that? We've got short sales now. Or how did we do that in that one package we did. We haven't done that. Let's go do that again. What about that one mailing? Saves time. It's a reference. Defines communication and expectations. Defines accountability and team standards. Now, so on the left side, you want to have a hiring playbook, a lead generation, a listings, pendings, customer service, database, accountability, communication, marketing, offboarding, whatever that happens to be for you. You know, there's a list of probably 21 that I have, but those are just a start to get you to understand step 2. Know the benefits of why you want to manualize and memorialize your business. Now, step 3, Stephanie. So on step 3 is how to build the playbook. Now, first question is, you got to know your why. You know, you got to be the real estate, you know, business of choice for your community. You want to build a massive asset for yourself ultimately, if that's your goal. You want to onboard successfully and efficiently. That's why you want to manualize it, so the training is very streamlined. Okay, to set the ultimate golden standard for customer experience, retention, and repeat customers. Isn't that it? Isn't that it? Dean, I'm sorry. Half of the world can see it that's on the screen and half can't. This will be recorded. Stephanie, put in the chat box or chat, Graham, that we're going to send out the recording. Okay. There's a new Zoom that has to be installed. Okay. Got to understand your why. You know, is this something you're going to sell ultimately? Got to understand your professional business conduct and how we treat people is why you want to have playbooks. This is setting those standards. It sets the expectations with the team as to who you are as the rainmaker. Number 2, you want to document and list your current prices. What are the current processes? I'm sorry. Document and list your current processes. Write a list of all the playbooks you want for your business. So you may only have a listing, a pending, maybe database playbook. You don't have any others. This is the call where you're going to hear about some of the others. List what you discover is missing. What's missing? If I came to your office and was going to purchase your business, what playbooks do you have in place? The other slide, I mentioned, you know, there's marketing, there's onboarding, there's hiring, there's accountability, there's customer service, lead generation, social media. Those are all different playbooks, and the list goes on. So you organize your current systems right now and everything, and you see what you have and you list them. And it could be a short list. You're going to see a long list coming up. And you organize what's missing, and you put down the dates and the times and in the schedule of when you want to do those. You're going to calendar each day 30 minutes to work on your playbooks. So you're going, what? This is called building your business. And if it's not in your schedule, it doesn't exist. Remember the bold law. If it's not in your schedule, it doesn't exist. Now, the other one that you see at the bottom of the screen is there. You complete one playbook at a time with a date of completion. It's okay to move the date, but don't keep moving it out 6 months. So a playbook should really just take you a month or less. One playbook could take you maybe 4 hours, maybe 2 hours. So when you look at what I've got coming up, you will be able to see that. All right. What's the difference between a playbook and a system? Great question. A system is your listing checklist. A playbook is the entire process. So hang on. I'm going to show you what a playbook is. It's coming up in a couple of slides. Let's go to slide 4, or step 4, which is leverage. So when you're starting to build your playbooks, you want to see, when on your ops team, you want to delegate different pieces to people. You want to delegate different pieces to agents on your team if you have a team. If not, you're it. You want to look at your vendors and see what they have that you've been adding. So for example, I would call a lender and say, what are some of the things I should put in a buyer package? How often are you going to update those for me? You reach out to those people. What are some tips on a home inspection I should be giving my sellers? You ask a home inspector for that. Usually they have that. Or what does the home warranty include? Give me that so I can put that in my buyer package. You delegate. Now, your market center, your TL, there's going to be trainings in your market center. Mastermind with agents. So when you go to family reunion, mega camp, you're masterminding, you're getting ideas and you're bringing them back and putting them into play. There isn't an agent that I've ever said no to. Hey, can you give me your pre-list package? Hey, can you give me your buyer package? Hey, can you give me your listing checklist? What about your database checklist? Sure. Most people, to be totally honest, are not going to be my competitors in the market. And then if they are, they're not going to do it anyway, probably because they just want it, but then they don't end up doing it. Not anybody on this call though, right? Command, database, CRM. What if you put a playbook together with Command and you list all the training videos? There's a ton on YouTube. You can go to Command and there's this huge list of all these new training videos there. You could just do a screenshot and say, okay, here's all the training videos for Command. It can be so simple as that. So simple as that. Of course, the Perfect Real Estate Assistant class is starting tomorrow. I'll give you more information on that coming up. And then I do a 2-day boot camp that is in June 8th and 9th. And that's in Austin with all the playbooks too. All right, let's go to step 5. And in step 5, this is where you have to really think about being a business person versus a realtor. You want to make sure that you have a TCPA, Telecommunications Consumer Protection Act, signed off by your team. That if they violate that and they did not look it up as a do not call and they violated it and people were on the do not call list and you get tagged, then they're responsible for that. But if you don't have them sign off on that, then you get to pay. All right. Safety suggestions for an open house. Now, there's a lot of open houses that can be in a dicey area. Why have that? Take a gun into an open house, really. I'm just kidding. But, you don't want to put people in open houses like that. So, we have a safety factor that we have people sign off on. Termination protocols, resignation protocols, that's all part of the onboarding. So they're clear that when they leave the team, if they're an agent, they're going to receive X amount on any pendings. They're going to that all leads return immediately. You do this up front. But you need to have systems rather than, oh my God, they just resigned. We've got to get those leads back. How are we going to get those leads back? When you establish your protocols and your systems, this is the playbook. This safety playbook is really critical to your success. Employee versus independent contractor. You cannot treat an agent that's an independent contractor as an employee. You can't demand that they come into the office. It's suggested that you come in and do role plays. Can we count on you to do that? Our success checklist is that we'd like you to be here for our team meetings. Can you commit to that? You can't say you will be here. You must do this. And so remember, that's a dicey situation. You need to have an employee contract that an attorney or brokers review that's compliant with that state. California, land of the fruits and nuts. So you got to have that be compliant. Protect the playbooks with passwords. So as soon as someone leaves, that password is shut down for them, or they have no more access to it. Confidentiality agreement signed by all team members, independent employee. All this information is protected intellectual property. And so that's your safety net. Now let's go to the fun one. Let's put a playbook together so you see. So here's a listing playbook. Now you just see 13 there. I got 42 suggestions for a playbook. And I may have missed something here. So let me just share with you. A system is a pre-list package. A system is pre-qualifying questions. A system is, the CMA checklist and how to do that. That's a system. The playbook is everything you need to do to make that play. So if you look at this, the playbook here, it's pre-qualifying questions for the agent. You start with that. It's the pre-list letter. It's the pre-list package. It's confirming an appointment by the assistants, a CMA checklist, the appointment file checklist, assembling the listing file for presentation, appointment file cover sheet, listing presentation script, price improvement agreement, price conversation for agent, promise conversation for agent and assistant. The market is a beauty contest and a price form, stockbroker price improvement script, which is said at the presentation. So just stop right there, Stephanie, because we're going to go on to the other 42. So right now, what you see is I've taken every single thing that's a first step. So when I'm talking to someone who's thinking about selling their home, I have my pre-qualifying questions. I'm writing the answers. Then I email Stephanie, who's on this call, to send out the letter confirming the appointment. We send out the pre-list package. She then calls to confirm the appointment the day before or the morning of. And then she's pulled the CMA. She's put together the file checklist of everything that goes in the file, checking it off, that making sure, because that's the file I take. And then assembling the file folder. That's a checklist that gets done correctly in the correct order. File appointment cover sheet. I put the script in there just in case I go brain dead. We've always got a copy of all the questions that I ask. And then the price improvement agreement. So at the end of the presentation, then I'm making sure that I'm going to talk to them about that, promise conversation, etc., in the stockbroker script, which basically is, and I'll share it with you real quick. And then, you know, my job's like a stockbroker. I watch the real estate market every day. I watch what's listed, sold, expired, canceled, and withdrawn, and I compare your home. My job is to protect your equity. In the next 2 weeks, if we've had lots of showings or no showings and ultimately no offers, I will be back to protect your equity. Okay, next screen, Stephanie. So then when you see the next screen here, you're going to see price war and beauty contest. Now, this one content, this one is more of the script, the other's the form. But I tell the listing, I want to make sure that I'm pulling that out after they've signed it. Hopefully that they understand we've priced it correctly. And now we're going to talk about what is it that they are willing to do to get their home ready? What is their budget? I don't tell them anything like that until they've signed the listing. I give them a preferred vendor list, could be part of that. Maybe not. Some of them don't need that. Pass the baton, which is the way I talk to my assistant about the motivation. Are they happy? Are they sad? Do they have kids? Do they have a dog? Do they have cats? What's the deal in their life, right? Listing checklist, assistant's first call, comprehensive database checklist, communication log. When I say comprehensive, that means their birth dates are in there. We know when they listed it, all the dates that are important right now. Thank you letter to seller, thank you letter from vendors. So do you see there's 42 things in a playbook? So a checklist is a system. Tracking sources of business, number 36, is a system. This is a comprehensive playbook so that if I was your new listing manager, everything is there for me. There's no learning curve. I mean, learning curve to discuss each one of those items and when they come into play, and some don't come into play. So everything on this list basically is shared in the Perfect Real Estate Assistant class. So we build these playbooks, you know, first 21 days of communication from assistant. So a lot of assistants think a contact by a text is a contact. It is not. The relationship is over the phone. You know, the relationship is that these people just paid 5-6% of the value of their home on a listing. We call them, we talk to them. All right. So asking for reviews, checklists and script, asking for referrals, Facebook ads. I'm kind of flying around here on this screen. Open house flyer, marketing plan, HOA docs. You know, what part of all of this do you not have? And this is a playbook, but you need a playbook for pendings. You need a playbook for customer service, a playbook for social media, a playbook for hiring, a playbook for offboarding, a playbook for onboarding. So hiring is a different process than onboarding. Onboarding is when they've agreed to work with you and all the steps that go through to onboard someone, introducing them to the players, understanding, you know, your culture, the Y4C2TESs, etc. And here's what happens next script. In every single call, I teach the assistants that they always mention your name. Hi, this is Stephanie with Monica Reynolds' office. Monica asked that I call you as part of our customer service. Do you have a few minutes? Great. Blah, blah, blah. So you're always asking permission, mentioning my name, and then you're going to say, here's what's going to happen next. You know, you don't leave people hanging on a listing. You don't leave buyers hanging in a pending or a list, or even sellers in a pending. They're all nervous. There's this moving target date sometimes of a closing date. You've got to stay on top of it. Now, the key thing that I've learned too over the years is you want to get those HOA docs up front right away. Do not goof that up. The other thing is that, you know, when you look at this list, is that number 30, we have a system where my assistant would prepare them for the home inspection. And we'd send out a checklist of all the things that they need to do, access to the panels, access to the attic, you know, blah, blah, blah. The whole thing, you know, is for them to understand that. So when we get an offer on it and the inspection is 2 days later, a day later, they're ready to go. And so this is a very comprehensive playbook. So I hope that makes sense, that their system is one thing, a playbook is the entire thing, but there's different categories. And so when you want to build a duplicatable and scalable business, and you start to look at the benefits that are available by doing this. Now, remember how I said, going back to how you start this. So Stephanie, if you could real quick, could you go back to step 3? I want to share, now that they've seen this, I want to show them again how they build it. Okay, let's understand that we have a why. Okay, so on step 3, you got to know your why. Number 2, if you can go back, Steph, to step 3. Okay, keep going. Step 3. We'll see if we can get this right. Okay, step 3. Oh, I'm sorry, I goofed you up today, I'm sure. Okay, we'll get there in a minute. But anyway, on step 3, number 2 was you document and list all your current processes. So maybe you have a thank you, Steph. Maybe you have a pre-list package. Okay, I have a pre-list package. Great. Okay. And then what are the steps in that pre-list package is the system. So if maybe you have your listing presentation script, maybe you have a way to fill out the file or how you like your file set up. If not, then you're going to start building from that. And if you have only 1 or 2, it's okay. You can come to the class and you can get it all done. You know, write the playbooks out that are missing. Number 3, list what you discover is missing and list the playbooks you want for your business. What's the big picture look like? What's missing? And organize your current systems. And like I said, when you put your listing system together, you may not have 42 things, you may have 8. And you go, okay, here's a couple that are missing. So maybe it's going to end up being 12. There's no judgment on my part. I just am very comprehensive. You organize it, absolutely organize it with dates in your schedule of what you need to put in. And you only do 1 playbook at a time. And you calendar 30 minutes a day. What? 30 minutes a day to build your business? Where am I going to find the time? Get up earlier, stay up late and do it. Make the time to build your business. Okay, Steph, sorry about that. Let's go to the slide number 7, Kanai. So Kanai, step 7. So step 7 is Kanai. And Kanai means constant and never-ending improvement. Constant and never-ending improvement. So you want to schedule once a quarter or when necessary, and immediately sometimes, right? To be working on this. Authorship is ownership, according to Gary. So delegate to people in your world to help you. If you have a team, you delegate to them. You have vendors, delegate some of this to them. And delegate the reviews and improvements. So once a quarter, you have maybe someone, you know, a lender look at your stuff and say, what do you think about our buyer package? What's missing here that you could add? What's missing you think we need to improve? Remember, it's a collective, you know, endeavor. And team participates and agrees on any improvement. So don't change playbooks when you have a team without everybody agreeing. All right, so let's go to the next one. Okay. So what I want to share with you on this next one, there is a shortcut. You're going, oh my gosh, that listing one is daunting. Well, yeah, if you don't have a blueprint. So I've got all the blueprints and I teach a class and I've taught this class since 1990. And of course, every single time we launch, which is a new launch tomorrow, we've added new things for market of the moment. We take out things that don't matter anymore. And so this is the next launch is tomorrow. So Gary Keller said on stage at Mega Camp, if you take any group training, you and your assistant take this one. Now, there's 3 calls a month. 25% of the calls are agents who do not have assistants. So if you don't have an assistant yet, you are one. So come to this call and build some of these systems, because we'll go through the hiring process. We'll go through all the job descriptions. We go through the 30, 60, 90. I go through lead generation. I give you a probate system. I give you out of area non-owner occupied system. I give you an expired, a FSBO system, a past client system. I go through all of that. I give you all the customer service scripts that ensure, and with the promise scripts, you getting one referral and one review from every single client that you're currently working with. Someone says, how do I double my business? Get a deal from every single client you're working with. Get a referral is what I meant. Get a referral. And that's the easiest thing. And I train the assistants and I empower them to be part of the solution of growing your business. They understand when that phone rings that if your average commission is $12,000, that's a $12,000 phone call. And really, it's 5 times that if it's handled correctly, meaning there's 5 sales, 1 a year from that one individual if you treat them and you make them a platinum customer. And I share all that. So there's 1 call each month for the agents only. We talk about pay, we talk about systems. I teach you what your assistants are going to be learning so that you can hold them accountable. I can't come to your office every week and see what's being done, but you can. I give them homework assignments. We go over what the policy and procedure tabs are in the manuals that they're going to be building. And the second and third call, they're each an hour long and they're live, and there's 15 minutes of Q&A, and I call on them. And I tell the assistants to put their screens on, and a few don't. So teach the assistants, if you're going to make the investment, screen on. You're going to come to my call, screen on. There's over 450 pages of a policy and procedures manual. These calls are live. They're 6 months long. And then at the end of that, you've got this huge policy and procedures manual. You can't possibly implement what I'm going to give you in 6 months, but you now have a reference manual to go back and build those. There should be at least 12 to 20 things that your assistant can immediately implement through these systems, with due diligence on your part, saying, did you put the new checklist together on listing? Did you do this? Did you send out this? So I give you all that information and you've got the blueprints. So I think you see that it's really important that you start building your duplicatable and scalable business. And I can take you the shortcut, and it's a 6-month course. And when you think about it, that's the same price I've charged since 1989. So the price has never changed. And that price will build your business. And when you think about what your average commission is, your average sale is, this will get you to the next level. So if you want to use the code, which is a good idea, you go to Web1, you put Web100 on there, you'll receive $100 off of the first month, which is a good deal. All right. So any question? Let me see what I've got in the chat box. Sorry about the technology. I'm not sure what happened here. And Graham, are you still on the call?
Loud and clear.
Okay. Not sure what happened there. But you've got the connection where they can go and hear it and see it, correct?
Oh yeah, it'll be active speaker and presentation and the recording for sure.
Okay.
Sorry
and where
for
do they go to get, where do they,
Seems
can
like-
you put that in the chat box? Is that from you there, YouTube?
Yes, yeah. Bad
Okay.
timing for some sort of Zoom update today. So apologies
Okay.
to
All
everybody
right,
for
good.
that.
Okay. I don't think I see any questions at this time.
Well, there's one, Monica.
Boot
It's
camp.
someone would like to know a little bit more about the boot camp on June 8th and 9th.
Okay, great. Thank you. My favorite thing. Okay, so it's in Austin. Mo Anderson is there for the entire time. And if you know Mo, she's the one that kind of built the culture for Keller Williams. You end up with about 850 pages, a little bit more extensive on some of the playbooks, but more importantly, it's live and you get everything in 2 days, everything in 2 days. You can email me at monica@kw.com. Our marketing is going to go out next week. So if you email me at monica@kw.com. Oh, thanks, Brandy. Is amazing opportunity. I went in January, totally worth it. Oh, hey, I love seeing that. Thank you so much. That is great. The boot camp is $9.95 for the first person and $4.95 for the second person. Thank you very much, Brandy Long. I appreciate that. Totally worth the cost. Yeah, you get everything at once, plus you get to go through all the systems and you see the big picture all at once. This is a slower process at 6 months, and yet I understand a lot of people can't travel at that time and, you know, et cetera. I get it. And so this is the very similar, but that's a little bit more in depth. Okay. Do we get recordings from the boot camp? No, we don't record it because it's live and it's in the KWRI market or, you know, training facility. There's not a way to record that because we have a bunch of speakers too. Is it beneficial for the director of operations? Oh, it's totally. That's why we want the agent and the ops person to come for the 2-day boot camp. We want the agent and the ops person to come. We had someone bring 7 assistants. That's a big team. He brought them all. Okay. So we have people that bring lots of people with them. I mean, even the buyer agent. We had a team that brought in 2 buyer agents with them because they wanted to see the systems too. What's the difference between a playbook and a system? Okay, I think I mentioned this a couple times, but I'm happy to do it again. A system is a checklist. A system is, you know, customer service letters. A playbook is what I mentioned before when I went through the 42 different items. So there's 42 different items that is in that playbook for a listing. So a listing checklist is a system. Price reductions is a system, but in the playbook, there's 42 items that were on the screen. So hopefully that makes a difference. A playbook is everything about listings, and a system is a listing checklist. A system is customer service letter. A system is price reduction script, but all of those get put in the playbook. It's like running a play. How do you run the play for the entire listing system? If I came to your office, I said, where's your listing playbook? What's your listing system on the checklist? But what's your playbook is every single thing, every system that goes with a listing. Anything attached to a listing goes in the playbook. Those are the systems in the playbook. Okay, all right. Respectful of your time. I'm so sorry for any kind of challenges. Graham, we got to look into that. We had a lot of people who weren't able to see it, and apologize for that. Thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful week. And please sign up for the assistant program. I'd love to see you on the calls. And I guarantee you, it is for agents and assistants. You won't be disappointed. You will get the value. Thanks, everyone. Have a great week. Bye-bye.